All right. What is up, everyone, and welcome to episode 14 of the Random Encounter Podcast. I'm your host, James, and as always, I'm joined by Phaneckswhy,
What's up?
my good friend and co-founder of the Random Encounter, Big Mike,
What's up, everybody?
and joining us today is our very special guest, the master builder himself, Groover87A, aka Groover.
How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we have an awesome podcast for you today. Even though it was a bit of light news this week in terms of the gaming space, there's still a bunch to talk about, such as an update of a topic we were talking about last week, which is what you would do if Microsoft made Call of Duty exclusive, because they actually answered that question a day after our podcast. So I wonder if they're listening to us too. That would be pretty cool, right? Yeah, but there's also
Spencer needs to shout us out. Dude.
yeah, exactly, right. Get us that follow. I'm sure you can gift like 100 subscribes on our Twitch.
Oh, right.
I'm sure you can
It's just
afford
a little,
that.
just a little memo out to the company.
Yeah.
Right.
But before we begin, I do like to thank everybody who's joining us today, as well as all 108 subscribers on YouTube. We really appreciate you. You guys give us the power to go ahead and continue moving forward. I know me and Mike definitely are always excited every time we get a subscriber, and that kind of pushes us forward to continue doing what we're doing, because we're
For
going to
sure.
get to this busy holiday season for us and our other jobs, and things are just getting crazy and hectic. But we do really appreciate that. Also, shout out to all
Yeah.
56 followers on Twitch. Without you guys, we wouldn't have been affiliate, so we really appreciate you. Shout out to the Streamboat out there for also helping us get that affiliate status, and everybody that followed us. And I do like to announce something very special. We do have a merch website out now, so the link should be somewhere in the chat right now. Go ahead and check it out. We have some shirts, some long sleeve shirts, and a mug. So if you like coffee, you can get a mug. But anything you purchase over there will help us out, helps us buy better equipment. Like, for example, I definitely want a better camera. I was watching a cousin of mine stream. He does a lot of streaming on Twitch as well. And I was like, man, like your picture quality is so good compared to mine's. And we were just chatting about that. So it will help us with getting like better cameras, a green screen for our YouTube videos to be better, and overall just the equipment we need to continue our YouTube videos and our streams. But before we continue into our main topics, Groover, why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, hi, my name's Groover, funny story about the name. I tried to contact the guy that just has Groover, right? But apparently he's like 45. He bought the very first Xbox, and he's had that name for ages. He still plays Xbox every weekend, and so he's like, it's priceless. So I'm stuck with Groover878. But right now, I'm just a college student. And I would love to show my face with the rest of you guys, but as of right now, Twitch is just pretty much a hobby for me. But and I don't want anything that happens on here to mess with my future endeavors. But I'm a college student studying accounting, and I'm just trying. I game anyway, so I figured I might as well stream it.
Yeah, definitely. And no worries there. It's always nice to have the anonymous figure, right? Groover is not a blue screen with a logo in the middle. I'm pretty sure that's not exactly what he looks like.
Hoover's a bot.
Yeah, he's a bot. We're actually talking to a bot.
Yeah. He's just
He's
a programmed
AI.
AI, bro. Yeah. Like,
But yeah, it's no worries on that. I'm pretty sure everybody's still excited to hear what you have to say in terms of the gaming space and all of our topics that we have to share for sure. So why don't you tell us about like what type of games you play and everything like that?
I mainly play FPS shooters. My favorite game is Rainbow Six Siege. I played
Choice.
competitively in it for a while, but it takes so much time to get good and stay good at that game. So I played a little bit more casually now, but I mainly play that, Call of Duty, and sports games, and
Nice.
any massive releases that comes out. They just sound fun.
Nice. Now let me ask you this: have you ever been into like JRPGs or anything like that?
No, no, I've never gotten into those, but I don't know, those they're just very complicated. I don't think I've ever gotten into that deep.
they're very time consuming too.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
it's like having another life.
I I never I just made these stick to recoil control patterns on my Switch. That was as in depth as I could.
No, definitely. Just real quick, actually, I think we can hear an echo from your mic. I'm not sure if it's yours or if it's somebody
Okay.
else. Does anybody else hear the echo, or is it just me?
I think it's just you. I don't hear
Just me?
anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
Okay, it's just me. I'm sorry, I lied.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
Yeah, no, actually, you know what it is I did have I had Twitch open in the background, so I could also monitor just in case if I need to if bots or whatever coming in. That's what it's replaying the audio. So my fault. It's actually my fault. I'm the one that had the audio in the background. So, but yeah, moving into our first topic of the day is actually an update for what we were talking about last week. If for those of you who joined us last week, if you remember. Actually, Microsoft had, or not Microsoft, but the European Union had actually wanted people to give input on is Microsoft buying Activision a big deal, right? And we asked the question, if Microsoft made Call of Duty exclusive, would you buy an Xbox and go ahead and use the Xbox? Oh, looks like we lost Phaneckswhy. But anyways,
Hi, fan.
if you don't have an Xbox and Microsoft made Call of Duty an Xbox exclusive, would you buy an Xbox? Well, the next day they actually responded and said that they would treat Call of Duty like Minecraft in terms of keeping it multi-platform, and they also would like to see Call of Duty on the Switch, which is pretty interesting. Do you guys believe Microsoft that they will do that? Let's start with you, Mike.
I don't see why they wouldn't, because honestly, just selling the game on another console, they still get a cut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you want people to buy your console because you get all of the revenue through it, but still, if you can't do it, it's still something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think what they're gonna do is with every other game, they're just gonna put it on Game Pass to entice people to buy an Xbox, but still do it cross-platform. Because Minecraft is on Game Pass, but you have to pay for it on everything else.
Yeah.
So I don't see why they wouldn't, especially since they're the ones trying to be consumer friendly. You know what I mean? So.
No, and I agree with you 100% on that. Hey, what's up, David? Thanks for joining in on the podcast again.
What's up, David?
But yeah, I agree with you on that. Groover, what do you think about that?
I think that's something even if they wanted to keep it just themselves, the community wouldn't let them. I mean, there would be so much
outrage.
So much outlash. And it's exactly like Minecraft. It's one of those childhood games that everybody played with everybody, regardless of, who owned it. Nobody cared back in the day, and I don't think anybody would care now. It's just, like PlayStation, as you can see right now, they get exclusive double XP weekends and exclusive skins and stuff like that. But everybody can still play the game. So I feel like that's how it would stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I figure that's what they would do. They'd probably only custom skins or loot that you get for having it on an Xbox or something.
Right, and those hardcore fans would still, if you're really that hardcore, you go and buy the Xbox, right? And you'd get that stuff. So if they want to spend more money, they can.
Yeah.
I think it's the hardcore fans that give them most money anyway, so that's probably who they're aiming for, not the casual players.
Yeah. No, I agree with you with that. Honestly, I don't see the point to make it exclusive because you guys were saying you're gonna lose out on a lot of money if you just make it Xbox exclusive or Xbox and PC, because then you're alienating the whole fan base of PlayStation. And I think there's a lot of people who wouldn't jump over and buy an Xbox just for exclusives. Now there's certain games that are in my opinion, that are console buying exclusives, like Nintendo games, right? Like Zelda, that's a console buying exclusive. But I don't see Call of Duty as a console buying exclusive game, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people who already have, let's say PlayStation, they'll jump over to something like Battlefield, or they'll find something different. Not in that, I don't know.
There's a lot of clones.
Yeah, exactly. And I was gonna say, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like battle royales have kind of taken up, and there's so many other alternative games to play. You have things from anywhere from Fortnite and Apex Legends to like Overwatch. There's so many other things.
Even Warzone, dude. Warzone's
yeah.
still going to be cross-platform.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what happens.
I'd actually like Sony to bring back Killzone because I'd love that game.
Yes. I mean, I felt like I was in a minority of that because I really enjoyed Killzone Shadowfall that released on PS4. And I thought it was really fun.
And it's got like the different classes. It's got like the different classes too. So like it's
Played that.
perfect for battle royale style games.
Yep.
If you think about it.
Game for the PS4.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it was great. A lot of people just didn't buy it. I don't know why, but I enjoyed it, and I think they can bring back Killzone. I just don't think they will because Horizon makes them too much money now. You know, and most corporations, like once they get a hit, they stick with that. Like Sucker Punch, right? Are they gonna go back to Infamous? I would like them to, but since Ghost of Tsushima was such a big hit, I feel like they won't go back to, any of their.
Wasn't there an Infamous rumor recently?
There was a while back that they were reviving Infamous, but there's also the rumor that they're already working on a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. So it's like, are they going to work on both, or do they have another team? Because Sucker Punch is not as big as like Naughty Dog, that they have multiple teams.
They might have gotten bigger after Ghost,
true.
though, because
They
it was
could've.
so big.
Yeah, that is true. They could have gotten bigger. Yeah, it's one of those things. It'll be interesting to see. Like, I would like another Infamous. I was playing Second Son. Is it Second Son? Yeah. I was playing Second Son recently. Or not recently, but a while back. Because I wanted a superhero game. But the only choices right now is really... The only choice for a good superhero game is Spider-Man. I guess there's Guardians of the Galaxy too, but it doesn't play the same.
It's like more story.
Exactly.
Like Spider-Man is more like superhero game.
Exactly. And I was playing that and I enjoyed it. I really liked Second Son. I thought it was really fun where you take their powers and everything. Like that was pretty dope. But yeah,
I'm surprised they didn't make more on that, dude. Honestly, like that was a really good game. Now that I think about it, I remember playing it, dude. I'm surprised they didn't do more with that.
My first intro into the franchise was, do you remember back in, was it 2012 possibly, when the whole PlayStation Network hack happened and everything like that? And they gave out the free games because you could not play online at all. So that was one of the games that I chose, which was the first Infamous, and I really enjoyed it. And then I got the second one through, I think, PlayStation Plus or something like that, and I enjoyed both of them. I thought they were really fun.
And you didn't pay anything. That's the best.
They were all free. So, but yeah, I think Microsoft would be dumb to make Call of Duty exclusive, honestly. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see because there's nothing set in stone. Let me ask everybody one final question. Do you think the deal will go through? Is Microsoft going to own Activision?
100%.
100%?
Yeah. There's like right now there's like there's really the only thing that's stopping them is this whole Call of Duty thing.
Yeah.
And Microsoft's got more money than God. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm sure there's going to be a way to like push it through.
Yeah. What about you, Fan?
Yeah, pretty much what Mike says. Especially if they say that if they keep true to their promise of what they say they're going to do by making it multi-platform, or cross-play and all that stuff, and not really change it. All they're really doing is slapping a owned by Microsoft name on top of the label. Then I don't see anything stopping it from happening.
What about you, Groover?
Yeah, I mean, it would be dumb not to. If you have the opportunity, you'd have to, because this is one of those games that no matter how bad it is, people will still buy it. Like Call of Duty will never die. The battle royale aspect might, but COD just won't. So I feel like it'd be dumb not to take over something just because people might not like that it says Microsoft behind it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, it's funny that was it MLB The Show, when you started up on Xbox, it says PlayStation Studios, right? And Minecraft on PlayStation says the same thing. It says Microsoft Studios. But yeah, I guess there are those like diehard fanboys. They're like, oh, Microsoft bought this, I'm not gonna touch this, which is, in my opinion, dumb. But yeah, I think the deal will go through, because I feel the people who are in charge of monitoring these deals, don't know anything about video games, and they don't care. So they don't know. They probably don't even know who Activision is. Like,
Right. It's all that's what I'm saying. It's all politics.
Yeah.
Microsoft's just gonna lobby some stuff to go down and put some money in people's pockets, and it's gonna go through, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's how politics works.
yeah. As long as they keep their word, I think they're gonna be good. And in my opinion, I don't feel that Phil Spencer's that type of guy to, do that, like take away stuff from the crowd. Like not what's it called? Starfield made sense in my opinion because it wasn't really announced. I mean, it was announced, but like there was nothing about it, so it made sense to make that Xbox exclusive, and it's a single player game. Where Call of Duty being a multiplayer game is a totally different story. There's people who play now that it's cross-platform. People play across other platforms with each other and things like that. So I doubt they will close down that game into just one system or just PC and Xbox or whatever.
Yo, so real quick, I don't just to add to this subject, I don't know. I just read an article saying that Game Pass didn't meet its quota the past 2 years or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they didn't meet their subscriber goals for the past 2 years. So I'm thinking, if this deal goes through, they're gonna jack up the price so hard, dude, on Game Pass because it's gonna add so much to the library.
Yeah.
like,
and that's the issue with that. So getting into the business talk, there's a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, Game Pass is a ridiculous deal. Like it is the best deal in gaming right now. Like I do agree with that. But what they don't realize is Microsoft, as of right now, they are hitting this as a loss, right? How many people went and used get a Xbox Live Gold membership and then upgrade for $1, and now you got like 10 years of Game Pass or whatever, right? A lot of people did that. I know I did that. Like I'm not gonna lie, I did that. Because I didn't want to pay.
It's a multi-billion-dollar company, bro. Why wouldn't I do that?
It's like I'm not gonna go ahead and pay $120 a year for Game Pass Ultimate. Like I went and did that. And I think what people aren't realizing that doing that dollar deal, or buying Xbox Live Gold for $60 and then upgrading for $1, is hurting Game Pass. But they're trying to do that in hope that you're gonna renew your subscription. I just feel like for $15 a month, you're not gonna get Game Pass. Like that's literally like a $30 a month subscription. Like in my opinion, they have to jack it up to $30 a month to actually come out even.
Well, yeah, it's like like it's what's it called in business, called like a loss runner or something like that, where like companies sell stuff at a loss just to get people in the store to buy other stuff. Like Costco has the rotisserie chickens.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They sell them at like a super low markdown, but they know people are going to buy other stuff while they're there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the same thing with Game Pass. People want people in the Microsoft ecosystem, and they're going to get them on there. And as soon as they get everyone on there, they're going to be like, oh, by the way, it's $30 now. You know what I mean? Like you're used to it already. You're not going to get rid of it. It's the same thing all these phone companies do, and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, yeah, I hear that. I mean, I guess we'll wait and see what happens with that. It's something I've been following for a while, and it's something I
Wait,
figured.
hold up.
What's
Dylan said he's going to give us a Twitch Prime sub, bro. Thank you, bro.
Oh, yeah, appreciate you, Dylan. When you go ahead and do that, you should see, I forgot what it is. I do have an animation for anybody that gives us a Twitch Prime sub. So when that happens, we will be able to see that. But yeah, moving along, and actually it's a good segue into our next topic, which is actually Call of Duty itself. There was actually 3 big games that came out this week, one being Bayonetta 3. The other one, which is technically not a big game, but is a big game for me, which was Star Ocean: The Divine Force. And Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
I was going to call you on that.
Yeah.
I was going to call you out on that, but it's like I was going to be like Star Ocean, bro.
Yeah. It's a big game for me because that's something to me that honestly like I love Star Ocean. My very first Star Ocean was Star Ocean 3, and I thought it was an amazing JRPG. And I know, Groover, you're not into JRPGs or anything like that.
Yeah, I hate to say I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a cool game because it's a blend of like science fiction and like just fantasy. So usually the main concept of Star Ocean is like a futuristic civilization comes in from space. They land on a planet that lives like like medieval times, and then they kind of have to like save the world and stuff like that. So that's always been like Star Ocean. This starts off the same way. You have a guy who's like some troop for whatever, like Space Federation. He crash lands on a planet. He's trying to find his crew. He meets up with some natives of the planet who are like these warriors that have like magic and things like that, and they just go on their quest together. But the game that I really wanted to talk about was actually Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Groover. I think you are the only one here who's been playing it, so I do want to hear your thoughts on it.
Oh yeah, I've been playing it quite a bit. I'm looking at my screen. I'm level 34 right now, and I have 2 guns gold. So I may have been playing it a little too much, but it seems to be like from the competitive scene. The TTK is really fast, and some of the map designs are just absolutely horrible. But it feels like they're starting to finally listen to the community a little bit, and you can kind of just get on and just play with your friends if you don't have to sweat 24/7. Like I think the competitive guys are a little bit frustrated, but the overall community like is not that upset with this game because you can actually just get on and just play. Now there are still sweats and everything, but it's not as bad as it used to be.
Yeah.
I want to get it.
Cool. So for those of us that aren't like that plays a lot of shooter games, can you like break down the lingo? What's TTK?
Time to kill. So
Okay.
like just in milliseconds, like Siege it's so critical, but Call of Duty it's obviously not as much. But like for those competitive scenes like S&D, Search and Destroy, stuff like that, it really matters. So,
Yeah.
but they did add. It's almost counterintuitive. They took away some very key competitive components of the game, but they added weapon tuning. So like you can tune a foregrip to be quicker, but less controlling of your recoil, which is so much more in depth than we've ever had in creative class in Call of Duty. But they put it on the least competitive game they've put out in years. So I don't really understand it, but it adds more depth to the creative class.
So
Kind of like a JRPG in Call of Duty.
So I was gonna ask. I heard there's like some like they added a mechanic like somebody was, I don't know who it was. I'm trying to think, but basically like there's one of the maps you can actually swim through it and like get behind people and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think back. That was in one previous Call of Duty, and like I don't think it was taken very well. But in this map, it seems to be done. It seems to be done quite well. Now, if they keep trying to like force that, I feel like it could go bad quickly. But like you're so vulnerable vaulting out of the water. It's not that much of an advantage. Just like you said, purely getting behind people is all it's really good for. So the combat underwater, like you can't shoot unless you're like half your body's above the water, so you can't shoot underwater anymore. You have to actually get up above the water before you shoot your gun or anything. So that makes it nice.
Yeah.
You can melee underwater though.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Like you can't really shoot underneath water anyway, so that definitely makes sense. But it sounds cool to me because like the last Call of Duty I really got into was actually Black Ops 2, and that to me is still my favorite Call of Duty. Like the maps in there were amazing. I love the maps. I mean, they're, in my opinion, like if they were to bring back just those maps, I would be happy with it. But you know, the Modern Warfare trilogy was also great as well. Like the gameplay in it was top notch. I mean, they kind of perfected the first person shooter genre in terms of like being competitive. And I kind of lost like interest in Call of Duty when Ghost came out. It was just like downhill from there. Yeah, Ghost and then Advanced Warfighter.
Oh, yeah, so many people hated Ghost.
Ghost was really bad. Yeah, I got it on
really
Xbox at launch. I got it for Xbox One, and man, like to me that was the biggest mistake ever. Well, one of the biggest mistakes ever. But you know, like, it was bad. And then Advanced Warfighter I skipped. I bought what was the one after that? The one where the campaign you went in space. I'm trying to remember what it was. Shoot.
Oh, that.
And what was it?
I thought it was Advanced Warfare. I absolutely loved Advanced Warfare. I
No,
mean that
Advanced Warfare was the one where you had the exoskeletons.
right, yeah.
Isn't it Infinite
there-
Warfare or something like that?
No, Infinite Warfare is
yeah.
one in
Warfare.
outer space.
Yeah, that's the one. And I
Yeah,
only bought
because-
that because of the Modern Warfare like remaster that was included.
Yeah. Yeah, same. I was so mad though because the campaign was like 4 hours. That's it. It was the shortest campaign I had ever played.
I heard it
beat
was good though.
bad.
Was it good?
It was fine, but it was usually when you get a COD campaign, you're like, okay, I'm ready for this ride, you know. And
Yeah.
I was done before I was done before 8 p.m. that night. I was
Oh, that's annoying.
disappointed. I was disappointed, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the year, like, I forget what COD it was, but they completely took out the campaign. I'm a big campaign guy, so I hated that. And then I didn't buy Vanguard because of how bad it was getting. Like, I just didn't even buy it. I quit playing Warzone. I got really back into Siege, and I
forgot
almost
about
took it
Vanguard.
competitive again.
Me too.
Yeah, I only heard bad things. So I did not buy it. But,
Never played it I never played any of the Call of Duty's past Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
yeah, well, you're not missing too much.
Yeah,
so.
three was okay. It wasn't
You stopped
the
on a high
best.
note.
Yeah, because 2, in my opinion, I gotta try out because what got me interested in Call of Duty again was Modern Warfare 1, the more recent Modern Warfare 1.
Right.
And that one really looked great. Like graphically, like it was the first time I thought Call of Duty looked very impressive, especially in the campaign. And then I started watching gameplay. I was like, wow, this actually looks fun again. But for whatever reason, I never bought it. And then I
loved that one too.
Yeah, and I wanted to get it. I just, my attention was elsewhere. But I did play Warzone, and I really enjoyed Warzone. That was actually like one of the very few battle royales I can get into at the time, right? It was that and Apex Legends. I really like Warzone and everything that comes with it. I just don't like the file size that comes with it because that is not cool. 200 gigs for a game,
Right,
like
dude.
that's ridiculous. But
They don't just own the game; they own your whole hard drive.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And that was the only reason why I haven't installed it again.
You literally like the game's free, but you got to dish out $50 for a hard drive.
Exactly.
For it, dude.
Yeah. That's why it's free because they know you got to buy another hard drive for it. But yeah, I really like Warzone, and then this came out, and I was like, man, this looks actually really good. And actually, I did want to get what was the last one? Call of Duty. What was the one that came out last year?
Was it Vanguard?
Was it?
Yeah,
No,
it
was it Vanguard?
Yeah.
What was the year before that then?
Modern Warfare? No, that was 2019.
Modern Warfare was amazing.
I thought Cold War was
that
last
was
year.
it.
No, Cold War.
Was it?
I got
a Cold War was before Vanguard. Yes.
Okay.
So Vanguard's the last one, then Cold War. I didn't buy Cold War.
Dylan said Cold War was 2020.
Really? What
would make sense. Though.
What year are we in? Oh, we're in 2022. So yeah, that makes sense because last year was 21.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Cold War was the one that I was really interested in because that continued the Black Ops storyline. Yeah, and I just never got it. Like I don't know why, but I really want to try this one. I might pick it up. If Mike picks it up, I might pick it up because or I will.
If I pick it up,
yeah. If you pick it up, I'll pick it up so we can play together.
If you buy it, I'll buy it, bro.
That's what me and my buddy did. He was like, "If you buy it, I buy it." So I bought it that night. And
for real, I've literally like been contemplating if I want to spend $70 on this for the past week.
Yeah,
I'm just like, man, like, dude, like I don't know, bro. Like $70 for it. Is it all right? So, in your honest opinion, is it worth $70?
I think so. Yeah. If it was now, when it was 60, like a normal game, it was definitely worth the $60. But that extra $10 just for it to be, what the hell, upgraded of the same copy and paste every year. I don't know. The guns feel really great. There's no outstanding bugs that I have run into. Grinding for camos is pretty fun and enjoyable. There's only like 4 challenges, and then you can get gold. It seems like everything's pretty balanced as of right now, except shotguns are still annoying as always. And
war never changes,
like,
man.
No, dolphin diving. You can dolphin dive and slide, but there's no slide canceling, so that's not a problem. There's no broken movement. There's an FOV slider on console, so you can actually change it now. I really do like it. I haven't had any issues with it, but like I said, the maps, some of them are not good. That's the only thing that sucks. Because there's this one. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called Board or something. But it's just a long highway of cars, and you have to run for like 30 seconds to the middle of the highway. Then you just die, and then you restart and run back another 30. It's horrible. That is the worst map I've ever seen in a Call of Duty game ever. But
they'll probably fix it though. It's still like
they have to.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
So if I buy it, I just leave. Yeah, I mean, if I buy it, we can stream it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because if I buy it, you have to buy it.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh man.
We can do that, and then fan will have to buy it too. Like fans buying games like every left and right because we are choosing.
I don't want to be responsible for this.
No.
And then you can play with us too, bro.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, bro. It's okay,
I know.
Like,
I don't want to be in the party and everybody's job. I'll be like, why'd you tell me to buy this stupid game?
We'll find ways around that. We'll find ways to get it cheaper. we'll because I'm pretty sure Phil Spencer is listening to this because he's gonna respond back then tomorrow with whatever other comments, right? So maybe
you should send us some free codes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Give us some codes. Give us some codes to promote this unknown game called Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, you know.
It looks promising. It looks promising as a franchise. I don't know yet though. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're still in development.
It might make even Sony want to fight for it. You know, it's one of those games. Like, you know, they might want to really try and keep some of the exclusive maps. But yeah, that's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It came out on Friday, so definitely take a look at it. In my opinion, I think it looks great. It's definitely a game that I want to go ahead. What's up? You gonna say something?
How is the campaign? That's what I forgot to ask.
Oh.
Have you played the campaign or no?
The campaign, yeah, I've played like half of it. It's my other friend really I've played like half the campaign. My other friend really loves it, and it does bring back some of like the old COD-esque, like the Ghillie mission in Modern Warfare 2. There's a reminiscent of that in here, but it's definitely not the same feeling. I mean, they have people walk right next to you and everything, but it's not like hiding under the trucks. It's not as intense.
Right.
There's some nice breach and clear, but I don't know. There's kind of nothing like the original Modern Warfare's, but they're really trying, and it's shown. But I personally don't love it. I still haven't finished it, so I don't know about the ending yet. Just because it's a long campaign. I played it for like on release day because I wanted to stream it and get content out as soon as possible to like ride that hype train. Because and I streamed like 8 hours of it the first day, and it's hard, man. I mean, like I was playing on like normal difficulty because I didn't want to restart too many times, and it is actually pretty difficult. I mean, but I like it. It's just not my favorite. That's pretty much.
Dylan in chat says that the ending will shock you. So it might be one of those campaigns where it just builds up all the way to the end, and then it's like boom.
They'll kill somebody important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, and then David asks, if it's 70 on PC, it is, unfortunately. I mean,
and
I say unfortunately.
One-Eyed Willie says it looks amazing. What's up, One-Eyed Willie?
Yep, he was up the Ghillie mission. Do you have it, One-Eyed Willie? Do you have it on or no? I doubt it. Yeah, you've been playing Fortnite, so I'm pretty sure you'll be playing Modern Warfare 2 if you had it. But yeah, definitely check out Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. In my opinion, it looks great. I don't know. I think we're gonna get it. Shoot, I think Groover just brainwashed us to get it. So if we have any complaints, we'll complain to
Damn
Groover.
You, Groover.
Yeah. Oh, and one final thing I forgot to mention too before we move on. This is separate from that. Please go ahead and check out Groover's channel. If you hit !Groover, you can go ahead and see his Twitch link on there and go ahead and follow him over there. He does have some
followers away, baby.
Yeah, he's followers away from being affiliate, so go ahead and check him out. Go ahead and follow him. Give him some love. Definitely, because, big shout out to him. I called him Master Builder in the beginning, and you guys probably don't even know why I called him that, but he has definitely hooked up our Discord and made it a lot better. He's also made the Streamboat. For those of you who don't know what the Streamboat is, that is my cousin, One-Eyed Willie. That's his Discord, where he basically has a community of streamers that get together and kind of support one another. And I can tell you, like, without him, our Discord would look really bad because it looked bad. He really hooked it up. So we definitely appreciate you. Groover, for sure. Hey, Dylan, appreciate you for following him. Definitely appreciate it. That will put him
let's go.
at four more follows.
awesome.
So if any of you guys can go ahead and follow Groover, really appreciate that. And show
Everyone
him some
go
love.
follow him right now. Yeah,
Yes.
make him affiliate tonight.
Yes,
That
let's
would
get
be
him affiliate
awesome.
tonight. For sure. He deserves it for all his hard work that he's done honestly, he didn't have to hook up the Discord, and he did it anyway. So we really appreciate you doing that.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I mean, the Streamboat, getting everybody together is something I've never really been a part of before. And then this Random Encounter podcast was just so cool because it was purely random.
Yeah.
And then you popped into my stream one day, and I thought that was really awesome. And I love doing this Discord stuff. I was into NFTs massively, so I did a lot of servers there. So
Nice.
that's how I know all I know. But yeah, I like doing things on Discord.
Well, if
so
I
it
ever
wasn't
get a
that-
Discord started, I'll have to ask you for some help, Groover.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but no, we appreciate that. So moving on with the next topic, right, is CD Projekt Red kind of let loose what one of their unannounced projects is, and that is a full-on remake of Witcher 1, which I believe me and Mike have talked about this before. I don't think I've talked about this with you, Fan, but Witcher 1 is not a great game. It's definitely a game that deserves a remake because when you compare especially to 2 and 3, it's really bad. The gameplay just...
The story's good, and that's
Yeah.
what makes you play the game, pretty much.
But the gameplay is like... I mean, I can mention a lot of games that came out around the same time, and it's very similar. That plays a lot better. Let's just keep it at that. But
I don't remember much of The Witcher.
Yeah, so
That was the first one.
You just YouTube a video, and then you'll see what we're talking
Yeah.
about. That's all you gotta do. It's really like rough, man.
yes, it is. So how do you feel about that? About Witcher 1 being actually Groover? Have you played a Witcher game? Because I know you haven't. We mentioned JRPGs, but have you played any RPGs like The Witcher?
I watched a playthrough, if that counts, on Witcher 3, and it
I would count
was
that.
it was decent, but like those like open world games, they scare me because I'm like I'm like, can you please just tell me some sort of direction? Like, tell me something because I have no idea what I'm doing. So I like to watch playthroughs on those instead of just actually buying them because I would be so lost.
Yeah.
But it seemed decent. It seemed fun, and I loved the Netflix show. So you know, it's about as much information I have on that.
Little bit of a side tangent.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all seen they're replacing Henry Cavill with Liam Hemsworth for like the
After
Geralt.
season 3.
Yeah.
They're replacing him?
Yeah.
Well-
Bro. It looks terrible, dude.
No way.
Well, they're not,
Yeah.
I think what's going on is since he got recast, or his deal with Warner Brothers for being Superman,
Yeah.
like, is like greenlit, like, because before, I guess him and Warner Brothers were just butting heads about making another Superman movie and making him Superman. And then this show, Witcher, everyone loved it, so it kind of like brought his name back to the table. And I guess there's something in his contract that says that he can kind of walk away if there's conflicts, like time conflicts with DC.
Well,
No.
so like the other thing I heard is like, so Henry Cavill is a huge Witcher fan,
Yeah.
and there was this thing that just came out that said that the writers weren't being true to the Witcher source material.
That's another
And
thing I heard too.
Yeah, I think he's leaving because he's like, like they're like straying too far away. Because he said as long as they stay true, he'll play Geralt, but once they start straying off, like, I'm out. And I think that's what's happening is like they're straying off, so he's like, I'm out.
Man,
You know,
That's
like,
such a shame. I love that show.
He's such a good Geralt,
Yeah.
dude.
He is.
Like,
Yeah,
He's
he's
very
great.
close to the he tried to be like the voice actor for the game, and he made himself purposely try to talk like that because the iconic voice you hear of Geralt is the one from the game, so he tried to make it as close as there, which is he's pretty close to it, and I do like that. It's versus what's his name who did Batman Begins.
Mark Hamill?
No,
Or-
Christian Bale.
oh,
with
Christian
his
Bale, yeah.
Batman voice, like a lot of us who grew up in the 90s, we think what's his name? I forgot his name now. Oh shoot.
Kevin Conroy.
Yes, Kevin Conroy as Batman from the
Yeah.
90s cartoon. And then you hear Christian Bale talk as Batman, and you're like, whoa, like what is this? Like, you know,
Yeah.
sounds like
All that gravel in his throat.
yeah.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so it kind of sucks that he's leaving, and I read that. But at the same time, like I do like him as Superman, and I feel like he never got a chance to play a real Superman. And now that James Gunn, who those of you guys know, is in charge of like he did Guardians of the Galaxy and a couple of other stuff like Suicide Squad 2. He's in charge of DC. They wanted him to come back.
Peacemaker.
And what?
He did Peacemaker.
He did
He
Peacemaker
did
as well?
Suicide Squad too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peacemakers and Suicide Squad. So they did a show on
Oh,
HBO.
I didn't know he did Peacemaker.
Yeah,
I knew
he
he
did
Suicide
Peacemaker,
Squad,
the
but-
TV show.
Huh. I
The
haven't
Peacemaker
watched
TV
that
show.
yet, and I
It's
heard
great.
good.
It is so good.
It's very vulgar. That's the word
Yeah.
I'm looking
Yeah.
for though. Yeah.
I mean, it plays into his character. So
Right.
I did hear that. But yeah, going back to the game topic, David says he hasn't played Witcher 1 or 2. 2's okay. Like I played it on Game Pass, or not Game Pass, I'm sorry, when it was Xbox Live Gold. And it's the same thing, like it doesn't play as good as 3. So it's one of those things like the gameplay, and I hope they make Witcher 1 remake better, because I feel like the gameplay could still be a little bit better, even in Witcher 3, because especially with a lot of action RPGs that have came out recently, they can definitely improve the combat for that for sure. So hopefully they learn. They just don't copy and paste Witcher 3 gameplay and put it on Witcher 1. I just wish they will make it a little bit better.
I think after the Cyberpunk fiasco, I think they're literally gonna do their best on everything from now on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's so easy to just copy and paste mechanics. You know that.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
That's one of the that's one of the main things. Like people don't realize as like developers, and I probably wouldn't even see developers themselves, but there are some developers that are like this. That the whole point is you want to maximize your workflow, right? Which is basically do as little work as possible to get something done. So like copy and pasting is so easy, which is why you see it a lot in the gaming industry, especially with sequels. That's why I give big props to like Miyamoto, because his philosophy was like he never really liked to do the same thing twice. Even though mechanics would be similar, he always wanted to introduce something that would change. You know, for example, you go from Ocarina of Time to like Majora's Mask, and even though they're similar games, they're very different games. You have a time mechanic. There's all these other features that they're introduced.
Mechanics and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then you go to Wind Waker, which was right after that, and then now you're sailing across the sea. You have like all these other stuff. Like it was pretty cool stuff that they do versus Assassin's Creed. You look at Origins, then you look at Odyssey, and then you look at Valhalla. You're like, I feel like I played this already.
And you have with different skins.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Different setting.
It's funny. It's like that default run in Assassin's Creed. Like if you look at the older Assassin's Creed, even till today, the running animation is still the same animation from Assassin's Creed. At least Assassin's Creed 2. Yeah.
I think that might be a nostalgia thing.
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe.
to me, it just seems weird like nowadays, because you have people who have
Yeah.
some realistic like running animations, and then you see Assassin's Creed, you're like, man, does like
That's
everybody run like that, like in this world? Like,
Yeah.
it's just kind of awkward. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys feel about the Witcher 1 remake? Would you guys pick it up?
Yeah, if it's done right, for sure. I mean, I love open world RPGs like that. You know what I mean? As long as it's like action, because they said they're making it Unreal Engine 5 too. So like, I'm like very curious about it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, now that I think about it, is there even an Unreal Engine 5 game out? I don't think so, right?
I think
Not
the engine
yet.
just released earlier this year or something like that. So
What
I
did?
don't think the engine.
Oh,
I
the
think
engine?
it released
Oh,
like
okay.
yeah. So I don't think anyone actually developed in it yet. I think
Okay.
the next few years we're gonna start seeing it.
Well, because
yeah, I think the Forsaken game was supposed to be an Unreal Engine 5, wasn't it?
I believe so.
I have no idea.
And well, it costs a lot to experiment in those new kinds of engines and stuff. I mean, stuff could just fail and we don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Yeah, I guess we'll wait and see how that goes with that. But yeah, Witcher 1 remake. I guess be excited for that. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll get
TBD.
it. I don't know if I'll get it. We'll see how that goes. I mean, it depends when it comes out. honestly, like whatever games around there, because Witcher is definitely not on the top list of mine. My greatest game of all time or anything like that. Like I told some of you here, I'm not a big fan of the Witcher games. I think they're okay. I don't think they're like the best game ever made, but like if it comes out at the same time as Tears of the Kingdom, I would pick Tears of the Kingdom over Witcher 1.
Oh, they said it's still going to be a few years out.
I know, yeah.
So,
if it comes at the same time as like Link to the Past remake with Unreal Engine 5, now that won't happen, but if that were to
that would
happen,
be crazy.
I would cop that day one, like honestly.
Bro, can you imagine, dude? Like just like it'd pretty much be like The Witcher at that point.
Yeah,
I mean,
You know what I mean? Like-
there is a guy out there that's remaking Ocarina of Time in Unreal Engine 4.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh
but
yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, it will not last.
He
Yeah.
didn't. I think he already got DMCA'd or whatever.
Did he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I seen like they shut him down for doing it.
Yeah.
It's a Nintendo property, bro. Like once you start doing something, like they'll catch you in like a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nintendo's like the Disney of video games. Like you don't touch.
Yeah.
You let them be.
You can't even use their music anywhere, bro.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, the music actually is free reign because that's what we usually have in our starting soon in our thank you stuff. So
wait till we start getting massive money
That's
off
true.
this, and then they'll be like, "Nope."
Then
Like-
it'll be a problem.
yeah, then we'll have to fight. Yeah. Well, I'll go over to Kyoto headquarters and talk with them. Like, hey man, like don't mess with me. But yeah, moving on to our next topic, and actually this is actually one of my the topic I want to talk to them about the most today, and I actually am interested to hear Groover's opinion on this. Has the Switch passed its lifetime? This is a topic that I've been thinking about for a while, and we kind of did some of it last week. But I'm really curious to hear what you guys think about this, because we all three of us at least have a Steam Deck. I'm not sure about you, Groover, but we all have a Steam Deck. And, like, in my opinion, I think it's hard to go back to the Switch, honestly. If it's not an exclusive game, I really don't want to buy anything else on the Switch. And I feel like the Switch needs a pro model or some type of upgrade, because some of the games too, like let's say Shovel Knight Dig, for example, you can play that on other platforms, and it's like, why buy it on the Switch when I can continue to play like on my Steam Deck, right? And not have to worry about getting out my Switch. I don't know. I feel the Switch has passed its lifetime. Like there needs to be a Switch 2, Switch Pro, I don't know, Switch 4K, whatever you want to call it. There needs to be something better, because it sucks that games like Bayonetta 3, for example, is having frame rate issues. There's another game, Pokemon. There's a lot of reviews out there, and everybody's complaining about the performance. The performance is not there, and I think in this day and age, we all want at least 60 FPS now. Like a steady 30 can be okay, but it's not even doing a steady 30 in like Pokemon. So what do you guys think? Let's start with you, Mike.
I feel like it was past its lifetime like 2 years ago, dude.
Yeah.
Like even before like the Steam Deck and everything, because it's like a lot of these games it's hard to even play like in handheld mode like nowadays. Like Bayonetta 3, like if I ever copped it, I don't think I could play it in handheld mode, because I feel like it doesn't really look good in handheld mode. Like, and I just watched Before You Buy Bayonetta, and the guy even the reviewer even complained that the world doesn't look vibrant, and it looks like very like generic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can tell they were trying to cut back on like assets and stuff like that to make it work. And I just think it's about that time, because now like, so when did the Switch drop? 2017?
Yeah, 2017.
Or 2017?
Yeah.
There was no
Is it
handheld. Yeah, there was no handheld out to compete with it, but now you have so many handhelds to compete with it. Why would I buy the Switch unless it's just for an exclusive?
Yeah.
And even then, like going into like kind of like high seas territory, eventually, like with stuff like Steam Deck, you could probably emulate it. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's time. I think it's like a little overdue.
What about you, Fan?
Definitely for sure. Just because, I mean, if Nintendo's all about the gaming experience, they're like, oh, we're not all about like cutting edge technology and going 4K, and we're there about the actual like games themselves, then yes, they need to do something to make a better iteration of the Switch to make sure that the games run great and that the experience is great, whether it's handheld or docked. Like,
Yeah.
I can't play 30 frames per second games now anymore. Like,
Too slow
I'm
for
barely
my
playing
eyes.
Breath of the Wild on my Switch. I play it on my PC just so I can run it at 100 frames a second in 4K.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, when they made the Switch, they were using an old processor anyways, so they were already using outdated technology. So I'm hoping if they come out with a new one, they partner up with Nvidia again, but maybe this time use like current gen, like GPU, CPU, like current Tegra.
Yeah.
Right. The hardware in the Switch is like 10 years old already, dude. Like, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
Like,
What about you,
Well, I mean,
Boomer? Do you own a Switch?
yeah, I do own a Switch. I don't own a Steam Deck, but I figure with the Steam Deck, you can buy games on that and it just goes straight to your library folder. Like, you don't have to rebuy it on Steam.
Correct. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, see, that is such an advantage on its own. Where you said like you don't need to buy anything on the Switch unless it's an exclusive, and that's totally true. But like, if obviously you guys know the Wii, like that idea was proposed, and people thought it was such a terrible idea, like an absolutely horrid idea.
Yeah.
And thankfully, Nintendo went through with it, and we have the Wii we all know and love today. But like, I think the Switch, it was very revolutionary for 2017 when it came out, because like you said, there was no other ones. I think if they would have known how much it was really going to sell, and even that like secondary market, I feel like they would have put a little bit more hardware into it, better hardware. But
Yeah.
I know once I went 4K and now I can never go back, so I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But they would have to do more than just upgrade the resolution side of things. Like, it would have to be. They would have to partner with somebody to compete. Like, I feel like maybe, I know it's Nintendo and they don't like messing with anyone because it's purely Nintendo. But I feel like they'd have to either get with a console, or maybe their best idea might be to just merge with Steam, because it's so convenient being able to have your games on PC and be able to play them on the deck
Yeah.
at the same time. Because they really just got outbeat. I mean, it's just such a better idea to have a Steam Deck than it is a Switch.
Well, at that point,
And
you
if-
have to start considering like price point too, because
But I mean,
Nintendo markets to kids. You know what I mean? Like, with the Steam Deck, you got to be a little bit like tech savvy. Not like a lot, but you still need to. It runs a Linux operating system. You know what I mean? So if you have to do
Yeah.
anything, you'll have to be able to function through Linux or run.
but
through
I mean,
Linux.
I don't think many kids have DSs anymore. I think the kids that did have grown up, and I feel like that's who they might want to shift their marketing to.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
Because, yeah, it was all about family at first with Nintendo, with the Wii and stuff like that. And then the portable game devices like the DS, it's always been their thing. So I feel like they'll have a revolutionary idea, but who knows in how many years that'll come. So they'll pull through, that's for sure, but we just don't know with what.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo, that's the thing, like, especially when the company is based off of, especially like Miyamoto being like one of the head honchos over there, he always wants things to be family friendly, and that's the thing that I give big props to Nintendo, because if you look at family friendly games and like good family friendly games, there aren't many of them, and the ones that there are, they're all on Nintendo platforms. Like on PlayStation, you have what, Ratchet and Clank and Sackboy's Big Adventure, and I'm talking about like games that came out like in the last like 6 years. Yeah, I guess you have Minecraft as well, but that's on all platforms.
It Takes Two was a really good
Yeah,
one.
it takes.
Oh, yeah, that was big for them.
I
But
haven't
it's on
played it.
Xbox now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on. Yeah, it's multi-platform. What else? I'm trying to think. Like outside of like Minecraft and stuff like that, it's very rare. But then like you have Nintendo's lineup. Like they have the Mario's. You have Zelda, which is a nice intro to like open world games. For kids, right? You have stuff like Luigi's Mansion, which is really fun. You have Mario Kart, which is still one of the best games ever. That it just keeps selling. Like it's always like in the top 10 most sold games every week.
And you got
get
Smash.
Super Smash. Yeah, Super
Yeah.
Smash Bros. The ability to play Super Smash Bros. Anywhere is the greatest thing known
Yeah.
to man. I mean, like, you can just put it on any screen.
So,
It's
Exactly.
amazing.
But
so
like,
for this whole Switch Pro thing, what would you say would be like if they upgraded the Switch, but not make it a Switch Pro, right?
Yeah.
Just made it to where the hardware itself can run stable,
Mhm.
right? And then, because Nintendo's always really good about or crazy about doing like expansions onto their consoles, like the GameCube had the GBA like dock thing that they had. They had expansion ports. The N64 had this expansion pack for it. So the dock would be the most smartest thing that they could do if they made a new Switch and then utilized Thunderbolt 4 for the charging. And then just like, hey, you get a regular dock.
Thunderbolt's Apple proprietary. I think you mean
Well,
USB-C.
USB-C 4, then you know what I mean. I mean, technically Thunderbolt's Intel, so
Thunderbolt's
But
not
if-
proprietary. It's not. It's anybody. It's not just
Yeah.
Apple or Intel. It was co-developed by a bunch of people.
But would you be open to, like, instead of them just making like a more powerful Switch that can do everything running at 60, but maybe just making it a little bit better to where it runs games more stable, but then sell the dock
Well,
as an expansion to where you can up everything?
here's the thing.
Because that's the whole point of the dock, is that you're running power straight into it, so you're able to clock the speeds of the GPU and CPU faster. So
Yeah.
that's why it can play at 1080 and a little bit faster frame rate. What if they actually had an actual like separate dedicated GPU in the dock?
Well, yeah. So the way the chip works in the Switch is the only reason why it clocks at a higher speed is because of it's
More power.
It's constantly being powered. Correct. It can go at a higher speed where they underclock it in portable mode, so it doesn't waste as much battery life. But to me, like a Switch Pro, it has to have decent enough hardware. But with DLSS technology, like it doesn't even have to have the best technology because DLSS works really good for what it is, and you can utilize all these upscaling techniques to make games look better. I mean, FSR is technically, it's not open source, but it's open to everybody to use. And there's a couple games on Switch that already use FSR, and if you ever play it, you can actually notice it. For example, Switch Sports uses FSR, and when you play it like on a 4K TV, you can notice the upscaling there because it does look very smooth compared to a lot of other Switch games. There was another game that came out recently that also utilizes FSR in a Switch game. Don't remember which one it is, but and the same thing. Like when you put it in dock mode, it actually looks pretty good. Man, I'm trying to remember the game now. I'll figure it out later. But like I think that there's other ways to go about it, but they do need a better chip, and I'm okay with it being 720p on the handheld. Like to me, it doesn't have to be 1080p because the Steam Deck is 720p, and I'm still okay with that.
I mean, I don't know. I think the HD standard now is 1080p. I feel like, well, I mean, for a lot of people, not obviously it's not the actual HD standard, but I'm saying, like, I feel like that's where we're at now. I mean, there's 4K, there's 8K, but I just think
8K is
somebody's
still like in the infancy stages.
Right.
It's not
right,
really
but it's a
Oh.
thing.
Well, I think it's just because of the size of the screen going from 720 to 1080. Your eyes aren't going to really notice that
Correct.
huge of a
okay.
difference
Yeah.
between the like resolution. Yeah, it'd be great to get 1080 on a 7-inch screen, but is that really going to matter? Like in terms of how sharp it looks
Right.
with 720 to 1080
Correct.
with 7 inches on a 7-inch screen? It's like,
A 7, yeah.
I mean, I'd rather have a 7-inch OLED on a Steam Deck than a
Exactly.
and then a 7-inch 1080p LCD.
Exactly.
Like I would rather have an OLED on the Steam Deck, to be honest.
Because when you look at the OLED, like to me, like the SWOLED, right, made me like my Switch again because everything just pops out. Like especially when I go in, like open a game and put it on there, like it just looks so crisp with all the colors and everything. And I really do enjoy that. I would prefer 720p with an OLED display versus going back to an LCD display because when I switch back and forth between my Switch and my Steam Deck, it's very noticeable the difference in color saturation between the two. But going back to that, yeah, I mean honestly, I'd be okay if I can get steady frame rate, and I think that's the biggest issue that everybody has with the Switch right now is the frame rate. There is no steady frame rate. It's just all over the place. You can't even hit 30 frames per second, and that's very annoying. Let's use the Xbox Series S as an example. It's pretty underpowered when you compare it to the Series X, but nobody's really complaining about it because you get steady frame rates. Like even
The
Modern
developers
Warfare 2.
are nowadays.
Well, one developer
Yeah.
said something, but they debunked it because I think Dying Light 2, they're like, oh, the Series X is holding us back. We can't do, I forget what it was. We can't do a performance mode on the Series S. It's holding us back. And then whatever they were complaining about, they fixed it themselves. I was like, okay. And I was watching like another podcast when a developer was talking about it, and they're like, yeah, it's just, developers being lazy and not wanting to do extra work to optimize for the Series S, which, that's on the developer in my opinion. But I mean,
I get it though. You do more work for the same amount of money.
yeah. But but I mean, when you look at like Modern Warfare 2, it runs, you could do up to 120 frames per second on the Series S. Like, and nobody's complaining because at least you're getting those steady frame rates. The Switch, on the other hand, it could barely run 30 frames per second, and that's the thing. It needs a better chip to get better frame rates. I think the resolution I'm okay with, in my opinion. You just got to fix those frame rates somehow.
Yeah, they need more better games too, honestly. I can't even remember the last time I touched my Switch
Yeah. I mean,
for a game.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
honestly.
I think like Pokemon and Smash are just their biggest things, and
Yeah.
Mario obviously, but it's just those things that, I mean, when you just have, I don't know, just a group of people over, they can just get on the Switch and play Mario Kart because everyone knows how to play Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I think it's stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's not. It doesn't feel as personal. Like you don't want some random person just getting on your console and messing with certain things. But on
Yeah.
a Switch, I mean, there's so many good party games you can just do that. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one thing I do like, like I love the party games on the Switch because they're very fun. You don't get too many games in there are like couch co-op nowadays, right? Like, for example, we're looking for multiplayer games together, and it's very hard to find multiplayer games nowadays, but I can probably name quite a few Switch games that are multiplayer. I mean, heck, you have the N64 online, and you can play all those games multiplayer, with everybody on there. We should do that when Mario Party comes out, 1 and 2. We should all do that. That'll be pretty fun.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, the real Mario Party, not the ones that came out recently. The real Mario Party.
I heard the last one was good, the All Stars or whatever.
Yeah.
I heard it was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, the recent one, the Superstars, I think it was. Yeah, I have that one,
Yeah.
and it's good because you know why? You know why?
Why?
Because
Why?
it's old maps. It's maps from 1, 2, and 3. Mario Party 1, 2, and 3, which.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
why they went back to kind of the roots where you go around the board and get stars and things like that. But yeah, like Nintendo has it down packed with those, and I think with COVID and everything, they probably have delayed a lot of games. But sooner or later, we'll probably get their big names out. Like we have Fire Emblem, in the beginning of next year, which I can't wait for. Zelda's next year. There's probably a new Mario game that's going to be coming out. I don't know what else they have in their lineup. I forgot.
Don't forget Metro Prime 4 if it ever does come out.
Oh yeah, Metroid Prime 4. Yeah, I keep trying to forget about that. The HD, Metroid Prime HD. Oh man, you're getting me angry, man. Why did you mention Metroid Prime? Like I just completely forgot about it. And now, that game needs to come out. Like I love Metroid.
I think my what's so good?
I was gonna say shout out to my wife because I was begging her to buy me these 2 Samus shirts, and I was like, please, babe, please buy me these shirts. Like I need it. So big shout out to her because she got me the shirts and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, I can wear it on the podcast. And I'll be like, yeah. Not just kidding. But real quick, big shout out to everybody watching us on Twitch and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us and subscribe to us on Twitch. If you have an Amazon Prime subscription, subscribing is free. You can't do it on the mobile app. I do want to mention that because I found that out today. You can't subscribe using the mobile app. You actually have to go through the browser or through like a PC or a Mac. And do it that way, because if you go through the app, it will say you have to pay, which is something I found out. I didn't know about that. So if you want to give away that free subscription, do it through either the web browser or like on a PC or Mac. It really helps us out, helps us get the equipment we need. And don't forget to go ahead and follow Phaneckswhy and Groover. Groover's almost at affiliate. He needs, I believe, 4 more followers. So go ahead and take a look at his channel. Go ahead and follow him.
Show some love.
Show him some love for everything he's done.
I appreciate that.
We really appreciate that because he deserves it. He deserves affiliate for sure. But yeah, Mike, go ahead with what you were gonna say.
The Switch release kit, like they just don't. Nintendo doesn't release.
Appreciate that, Groover. Appreciate the subscription.
I forgot I had one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate
Oh,
that, man.
dude.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
Oh man. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
no, I was saying like they just need to release games more frequently because I feel like they clump their games together and then there's like they have long dry spells, like with Nintendo first party exclusives.
Yeah.
Because like Breath of the Wild and Mario and Smash Brothers released like a few years uh like away from each other. I think actually
Well-
Breath of the Wild and Mario released the same year.
Yeah.
I mean, technically,
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart, and those two games were on Wii U and Switch, so they weren't really for the Switch.
Yeah.
Right, true.
The Switch
But-
needs its own
Right.
Zelda game.
Oh,
Oh my
true.
God,
Yeah,
I
it
forgot
was
about the
cross-platform.
Wii U.
Like,
That
yeah,
thing is
you're right.
disgusting.
Yeah, but you're right, Mike. They do need to like get their roadmap of games a little bit better because they do tend to release a bunch kind of all together all at once.
Yeah.
If they space it out a bit more, it'd probably like be a bit
It would
better.
be better, yeah. And bring back some old ones. You know, they have so many IPs they haven't touched in decades. You know what I mean? Like, there's stuff there.
Bring back you know what was a good first person shooter game that was on it's not Nintendo, it's actually Sega, but it was on the Wii, The Conduit. You guys ever play that?
None of it, no.
No.
No. So it was basically kind of like the Wii's answer to like Halo, kind of. And it's actually a pretty fun
LOL.
game. It's actually a really fun game. Like I really liked it. You should check it out. It's a pretty cool game. Very
Can you
Halo-ish.
play on a regular controller?
I don't know because I
Or
played
is,
with a
do
Wii
you need
remote.
like the motion control thing?
I
My wrist
I don't have the
ain't
answer
strong
to
enough
that.
for that nowadays. Like,
I don't have the answer to that. I think you need the a motion control. I could be wrong though. I'll have to look that up and see.
Well, I mean, Nintendo has they have Perfect Dark that they could bring back as a
That's-
remake on Switch
that's
because it was on the N64, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft owns Rare though.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's true. And they're already coming out with a new. Well, I mean, they could put it on the N64 online, but they won't bring a
Yeah.
new one.
Right.
One second. I'm trying to finish or fix one item.
Or Turok. Well, Turok is also rare, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Real quick, Willie,
Microsoft
Willie, I
owns.
think
Then
you need to
Nintendo-
wait. I think you gotta wait 5 minutes before you can try again. Sorry,
Yeah,
but
then
I did
Nintendo really
fix
needs to bring-
I did fix the command. I had misspelled Willie. I had 1 9 instead of 2. So give it like 5 minutes and you can try it again.
Okay, so Nintendo doesn't really have like a first-person shooter game, really. Then,
Yeah.
so they really need to bring Metro Prime 4 back
Yeah.
into the fold, so then that gives them their first-person shooter game.
That could be their foray into like multiplayer too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's definitely you know, I don't know. Like we'll see what Nintendo does in the future, and it's gonna be interesting because this is gonna be the first console to release with a new CEO. Because even though Iwata died before the Switch came out, he had worked on the Switch, and the majority of that was done with Iwata. And for those of you who don't know who Iwata is basically, he was the CEO of Nintendo, but he was also a developer. So like this dude was like, he was the man. He really looked out for Nintendo. You can find articles of him basically reducing his pay because of the Wii U's issues and like not selling as much, just so he can pay his employees. Or I'm sorry, the 3DS, when the 3DS launcher wasn't selling, he reduced his pay to pay his employees. And that's a boss right there. That's a real boss right there.
Right.
You know, rest in peace, Iwata. Like he was one of the few gamers, you know,
He
in
was
the
the real
business.
one.
Yep, the real one, and that's why, you know, all respect to him. You know, there's very few of those out there who are actually commanding the company and everything like that. But yeah, we're almost done for the day, so I do have a special that I wanted to do today. And are you guys ready for this?
So
You ready?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
so
do it.
I wrote special in the notes because I didn't want you guys to know what we're doing. So I did talk this over with Mike a while back, something I wanted to do on the show, and we're going to do that today. We are going to do
Okay.
video game 20 questions. I have a
Oh
game
jeez. Oh god.
Okay.
that's already in my head that I know and you guys need to find out within 20 questions. So for those of you who don't know, basically it's like 20 questions, but it's video game theme. Basically, they need to guess the video game that I'm thinking at right now. You have basically 19 questions to figure it out, and in that last question, you need to guess the game. If you don't guess the game, then you lose. So it's teamwork. Go ahead and brainstorm amongst each other. Just don't ask the question unless you know. And now, of course, they have to be yes or no questions. You can't do any of that stuff. Alrighty. So
dang. Okay. Only yes or no questions.
Let the games begin.
I think we might want to start with if it's multiplayer or single player to see what kind of time frame we're in. Because like nowadays everything's multiplayer, or if we're dealing with an old game.
Well, if I know James, it's gonna be a JRPG. So I think the best thing to ask is it a JRPG?
Are you asking the question, or is that
No, I'm discussing.
Okay.
Like,
I think that's a good question to ask.
Yeah, that's probably a good question, because if so, then it's you two on this. So
yeah.
Hey, what's up, Marty? Big shout out to you here also, and thanks for streaming us with us last time. But yeah, go ahead, guys.
So is it a JRPG game?
No,
we'll ask it.
It is not.
Oh,
it is not a JRPG. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
And give me a second while I write down, because I have bad memory. I don't want to forget how many questions you're on. So go.
Yeah.
So
no, we can only be yes or no questions, so we can't ask what console it's on.
Correct.
I mean, we could say like, is it Xbox or?
There's not too many consoles.
Hey, and the chat can help you out too. So the chat is able to help you out. So definitely take a look at the chat.
Yeah. So not JRPG
too.
All right.
Yo, if you hold on, what we should do a time period that'll probably narrow it down too.
The time period.
That's true.
But we have to figure out a way to narrow down like the time period, like to ask about time periods.
So,
you know what I mean? Like,
well, we'll say did it come out after the 2000s?
are we using that as a question?
I like that question. That's fine. Yeah, we got.
Because that kind of narrows it down a bit.
All right, so we'll do. Did it come out after 2000?
No.
Oh, okay, so it's an older game.
So it's an old game. All right.
Right. I like that one from Benny. Is it an exclusive?
Oh, that's a good.
Is it first party? Is it a first party game? Yeah. Then that, if it is, then we can kind of narrow in console.
Is it a console exclusive?
Oh man, that's hard.
Oh, we're stumping you, dude. Like,
I'll give this as a pass and say kind of.
Huh.
And I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. But this will be a pass because
So I think
define console exclusive. Like,
how was it? Did it only come out on a singular console? Like, so was it like exclusive to, like, let's say like Nintendo or Sega, something like that, one of their consoles?
Okay. It'd have to be back then.
Yeah. I mean, if it was before 2000, it'd have to be.
So,
if not, then it'd be one of the few titles where it was multi-platform.
What if we're talking about like Pac-Man or Space Invaders here? I mean,
I don't. I'm gonna continue with kind of, because you're not giving me enough to say yes or no. So we'll stick with kind of.
Okay, does that count as a question since you can't answer it?
No, it won't count as a question.
Okay. All right.
Good stuff.
All right.
So, all right. So we're talking about 90s. So should we try to narrow it down within if it came on the 80s or the 90s? Or we could ask, did it come out after 95?
Why don't we just go with Sega or Nintendo? Well, I guess we'd have to ask one at a time. But like, that would really.
Oh yeah. So pre-2000, what came out? So there's Dreamcast, Sega, N64, Super Nintendo.
I think Xbox came out around that time.
No, Xbox came out 2000 something.
Oh, it came out 2002-ish. So not Xbox. So we know that rules out Microsoft. Okay.
Right, yeah.
So it's either going to be Sony, Sega, or Nintendo.
I think
the
James
three.
is trying to stump us, bro. It's probably
unless it's a
one of those
PC.
handheld.
Unless it's a PC game.
He's trying
What
to
if it's a
stump
PC
us.
game?
Oh,
He had
shoot.
that handheld game thing that no one had, the X86 or whatever. It's probably a game on that, dude. Like,
Oh man,
Shoot.
this is gonna be fun.
What if it's a PC game? What if he's talking about like Warcraft or like or
Wait,
StarCraft or
that-
something?
Oh,
Yeah, I guess that would say
hold on.
why it's non-exclusive,
Hold on.
right?
James is a real big video game music buff, so it's
So games that actually have good music in it too.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if we could make that into a question to ask, like,
don't forget to take a look at the chat and get their input on that too.
So Marty said MMO, but it came up before 2000, and I think the only MMO back then was EverQuest, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
All right, Dylan's got to go. Have a good night, bro.
Yeah,
Thanks
Dylan,
for coming in, man.
Appreciate everything, man. Appreciate the follow.
Okay, so what about if it's multiplayer or single player? Like, is it a multiplayer game?
Yeah, we could do that.
Because if it's because that would rule out like any online games, that would rule out any fighters, any racing games that have multiple people. It would just be a single player game. So, is it a multiplayer game, James?
Is it a multiplayer game?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Okay, single
Okay.
player non-JRPG game.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting
Okay.
somewhere. We're getting somewhere.
I mean,
do
we go with like
what if we
Okay.
do? I think we should start narrowing down the consoles. How many questions do we have left?
You have quite a lot. You have 16 questions left and a guess. So you got quite a few.
do we want to?
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
So
we're gonna pick between Sega and Nintendo or
Yeah.
Sony.
What if we start?
You want doing franchises?
No, like I think we should start doing like, is it a Nintendo game? Because that was big in the 90s.
Yeah.
So if it's not, it kind of narrows it down to like other things.
Oh, like a Nintendo property versus if it's a Sega property.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Is it a Nintendo property?
Yes.
Yo, it's Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. That's why it's his background.
Is that? Are you guessing the game?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, I mean we can still ask more questions to zero it in. So we know it's Nintendo. So and it's before 2000.
Marty and David said that it's Ocarina of Time.
Is that what you're
then-
asking at, or?
No,
Oh,
okay.
I'm just
No.
saying the chat. That's what the
I
chat
mean,
says.
if it's Nintendo, then is it a Zelda property? Is it a Zelda game? One of the Zelda games?
Are you asking that?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's
that's a
a
fair
question.
question.
That's a fair question. Is it one of the Zelda games?
Yes, it is.
See, all right. So
Oh,
we
no.
so yeah. Now we know. Now we can just
We're-
nip it down.
let's-
Like
let's give it a-
on it.
Give it a second, because an ad is playing right now, so nobody will be able to hear you guys. So,
Okay.
yeah,
well, yeah.
Been busted.
yeah. Let's finish.
All right.
Yo, he gave some subtle clues with his background.
All right. So we've got quite a few to choose from. So if it's before 2000, that's
When did Ocarina of Time come out? 99.
It
yeah, like-
came out in 98. Awakening
Yeah.
came out in 93. Link to the Past came out in 91. Adventure of Link came out in 87.
Yeah.
The original
And
Legend
then-
of Zelda came in 86.
yeah,
So
and then
did it-
Majora's Mask came out in 2000.
Okay. So
Right.
okay.
So-
So did
Well,
it
this
come
is-
out in 98?
Yes.
At that point, we should. Oh, it's
No.
the game.
That's
the only
it. That's
game.
it.
It's
That's
gotta
it
be-
then. That's it.
All right.
Is it Oots?
Is the game Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time? That's the game. That's my
it
question.
is.
There you
Yeah.
It is Ocarina of Time, released in 1998, originally on the Nintendo 64, and then it also came out to GameCube later on in the Master Quest, as well as released in Virtual Console and all that. Which is why when you said, is it an exclusive or console exclusive, I was like, kind of, because yes, it released exclusively on 64, but since then it's been ported across a bunch of other ones. So yeah. Good
Yeah.
job. Good job.
Right.
Yeah. So I wanted to have
We did
something.
that pretty quick. Like,
Hey, you want to
how
do
many
another one?
questions we got
I
left?
had a second game. You had 13 questions left. And
Oh,
a
we
guess.
did good, boys. We did good.
Yeah, it would really make it suspenseful if we did it in 10.
Yeah.
Right. It'd be a challenge.
No,
Well,
definitely.
you need to keep that in the back burner. Know how many questions we got to that one. So when we do this again, we're gonna see if we can beat that record.
No, definitely. So like I had talked with Mike a while back, and I told him I wanted to do something fun, like a game show type of thing. And one of them was actually to guess the music, which I'm gonna do for a YouTube video, possibly. But like on the podcast, I was like, he's like, hey, on the podcast, why don't you try it one of these days? I was like, cool, and I was like, you know what? Why don't we try it today? And that's why I put special, because I didn't want nobody else to know what we were doing, not even Mike or Van, because I didn't want you guys to research it.
I'm down for doing it.
But actually, my background being Zelda has nothing to do with it, because this was actually what I was streaming the other day, and I have put that as a background.
Well, so the only
I
reason
was in there for that.
Yeah.
I knew you were streaming that the other day. That's why I'm like, all right, bro. Like, I'm gonna start narrowing this down.
So there is another game that I had on there. Do you guys want to do one more, or do you guys have time for one more? Because we can do one more, because you guys got that pretty
I
quick.
don't care. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do one more.
All right, let's do one last one. And actually, we'll tally up the points. And if everybody watching, if you guys like the video game 20 questions thing, we'll do it. I want to give a shout out to where it originated from, which is Game Scoop Podcast. That IGN does. They actually do video game 20 questions. It's pretty fun. And a lot of times I go through, it's like, man, this is easy. I can guess these guys. But
That kind of reminds me of the there's a YouTube channel. It's called Actually. This is actually kind of what it reminds me of.
I want to give a shout out to Marty and David, because they're the ones who called it first in the chat.
All right, are you guys ready for the next one?
Of course.
And yeah,
you should get some you should have some game show music playing when we do this.
We'll see. I'll make it look pretty, because I still want to work on our background overlay and make that look pretty too. It just takes time. But yeah, we'll go ahead with round 2 of video game 20 questions. And I do have the game already. Let me actually get all that information real quick.
Check the reflection of the glasses.
I know. I was like, let me look over here so you guys don't see that. But yeah, you guys can start asking the question. Let me
You know what we should do, bro? We should play this, and if anyone gets in the chat, we should give away prizes. If anyone in the chat gets it.
All right, let the questioning begin.
All right, so we're just starting off. All right, so should we do the 2000 question again to narrow it down to a decade?
I'm gonna take off my glasses so you guys don't see the reflection.
I was kidding.
Yeah, I think that's a good question to ask, because whichever way you go, because 2000 is like a good, because if you go 2000, then we know it's within the last 20 plus years. If it's before then, still games have been like 70s, 80s, 90s. That's still within 30, 40 years. So
I think we should limit it to like 2010.
Oh, so should we do? Did it come out after 2010?
Yeah, well, no, I'm saying like from 2000 to 2010, just so that we're not dealing with so many games, because games have really a lot more frequently. And
so you're asking, so you want to ask him, did it come within that range, within that decade?
Right.
Okay.
We should, we can do that. So did it come out between 2000 and 2010?
No.
Ooh.
Okay.
Juicy.
So it's either a recent game or an older game at that point.
Okay. So we should do, we should ask if it came out before 2000, because then that'll eliminate a time period.
Yeah.
Did it come out before 2000?
Yes.
Okay.
Again, all
right.
Right.
Older game. Okay.
Well,
all right, so we're talking about.
Is it a Sega game?
No.
Okay.
Not
That
Sonic.
eliminates
That's
Sonic.
Sega.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He's trying to not be predictable.
All right. So it's either Nintendo or Sony at that point.
Marty says by generation. Oh, One-Eyed Willie said Metroid.
You know what? I'm gonna shut off the chat. That's not just kidding.
I mean, that's a valid question. Is it a Metroid property game? Because if it's not Sega, then we know it's either
Right.
Nintendo or Sony.
Well, instead of asking if it's Metroid, we should ask if it's Nintendo again. Because that eliminates a whole bunch of games.
Yeah.
So, is it a Nintendo property?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Like,
So it could be a Sony game.
so
It could be
it's
a
not,
PS.
It's not Sega and it's not Nintendo. So that leaves kind of narrows it down a little
I mean,
bit.
technically, it could be Final Fantasy VII if you think about it, because Final Fantasy VII came out in '97. It's a Sony game.
Right.
So
Or we can ask, is it a Final Fantasy game?
Yeah, we can do that.
Are you asking that question?
Yeah.
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 No.
so it's not a Final Fantasy franchise. Okay.
Ooh, okay. We could do. So we asked if it's a Nintendo and a Sega exclusive. I feel like the only thing is we need to see if it's a Sony property.
It's got to be. It has to be a Sony game.
Right.
You think? Okay. So we should ask if it's the JRPG again. No? Yeah?
Are you asking?
No.
Oh. Are you asking?
No,
or
no,
are you...
no, 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 no. We're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think if we ask if it's a Sony game, then we can kind of narrow on whether it's a JRPG or not.
Yeah? Is it
Yeah.
a Sony game?
By Sony game, are you saying like is it developed by Sony or?
Or is
Did
it
it come
a
out on the PlayStation? Did it come out on the PlayStation?
Yes.
Is it a place? Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
So
what
it's a
JRPG
PlayStation
games came
game.
out?
Yeah.
And-
So it's a play. Hold on. So it's a PlayStation game.
That was
But there's
definitely
a lot of games that came out on the
There's-
PlayStation. dude. Like,
So is it an
So-
RPG game?
No.
All right. So that
Ooh.
that cuts out all your JRPG right there.
it's Crash
When did
Bandicoot.
the-
Oh, Marty just said it. I just thought it too.
Yeah.
Marty said Crash Bandicoot.
Sounds like
I mean-
a good guess.
So is it hold on.
So it's, I mean,
When did the first Uncharted come out?
Oh
oh
no,
no,
that was like
that was like
no, that was way
yeah,
way, way,
that's
way.
way
I'm trying to-
yeah.
Hold on.
Uncharted's
where-
a fairly new game.
We're
I
like
mean-
talking about 90s PlayStation.
Yeah,
Like,
sorry. I was
I
always
mean,
an
you might be
Xbox
thinking of
guy,
Tomb
my
Raider.
bad.
Tomb Raider came out around then, possibly.
Yes.
The original Tomb Raider.
Yo, One-Eyed Willie said it's Crash Bandicoot too. Like PS3 onward. No, he said it came out in the 90s on PlayStation, so it has to be a PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah.
Because PlayStation 2 came out in 2000, correct? Yeah, 2001. Or, yeah.
Are you asking me that question?
No. Wait, yeah, PlayStation 2 came out in the 2000s, right?
I
Anyone
mean,
know?
it could be like
No. Oh, new rule.
Oh, no,
Don't- you can't use your devices to look it up. That's cheating.
So, does anyone know when the PlayStation 2 came out?
You can use the chat. I'll let you use the chat, but you can't use devices.
Well, if he says
No.
before, if he said this before 2000, it's definitely not the PS2. Like
Right,
if it's
that's what-
before
that's what
2000,
I'm-
it's definitely not the PS2.
yeah.
So it has to be a
I can't
PlayStation 1
remember.
game
I mean,
Did the
specifically.
PS2 come out in 99? Or no? No, it
No,
had to
no,
come
no,
out
no,
in-
no, no.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
it
no.
could be like a Resident Evil game, right?
Oh, that's a good one.
It could, yeah, because
It's not
Resident
a
Evil did come out on the
Is it a Resident Evil game?
Yes.
like franchise. Yeah,
Ah,
Oh,
yeah, got it.
let's
ooh. Okay, so it's either 1 or Code Veronica
Or 2.
or 2. It's one of those 3.
Well, because 3 was released in 1999, so like it was. Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be 1, 2, or 3.
I think it's Veronica.
Yeah, because we talked about it.
I think
Like
it's
recently.
Veronica.
Yeah.
Is it Resident Evil Veronica?
Are you asking? Because if you ask, you will. Are you?
Should we narrow it down?
I don't think I'm gonna give you a free pass and say no. I'm gonna use it as a question, but the next time if you guess the game, it ends the game. Okay,
Okay.
so it's not
Oh, okay,
Resident Evil
okay.
Code Veronica.
Okay.
Alright.
So it's either 1, 2, or 3. Okay. All right.
I don't know the year
So-
those came out at, so I have
Alright.
no idea, dude. Like,
Yeah,
Oh,
but it's
hold
my,
on,
my
I have
fault.
an
My
idea.
fault for that. I'm sorry. I should have said that. That
Yeah.
if you do answer
okay.
the
Okay.
game or ask the game and get it wrong, it ends the game and you.
All right.
Okay.
So
All right.
I
So
have a way to ask.
is it
this.
a is so my, well the way I would ask it is it a sequel? Is it one of the Resident Evil sequel games?
Or we could ask, is it the first of the franchise?
That's true.
See,
Yeah.
It's
and
either one of those
we-
questions will work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either one of those
We have
questions will
so
work.
many questions. We have so many questions.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it the first game in the franchise?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So is it Resident Evil, the game, the first one?
Are you sure you want to answer that?
I mean,
Or you
wouldn't that
wanna
be the
ask
first of the
that, rather?
franchise?
Oh, jeez.
Was there another Resident Evil game that I don't know about before the first?
Yeah. He's messing with us, bro. I don't think there was another Resident
Yeah.
Evil, dude.
No, I
That
don't
was
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my question.
That's it.
That's what we're
it.
guessing.
alright.
We're
Yep,
guessing
yep,
it's
we're
the
guessing
first
the
one,
game.
Resident Evil 1.
the one that was on the PlayStation 1 in with horrible controls and camera angles.
Yes, it is Resident Evil.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Resident Evil 1 released in
Yo.
1996. Resident Evil 1 originally released on PlayStation and then of course was available on other consoles in the future. Yeah. That was actually it was between those two. And real quick before I continue, One Eye Willie, I'm not exactly sure why your command is not working. Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, I
2
spelled
for
it
2,
wrong.
bro.
Let me see. Can you guys try typing in One Eyed Willie's name? Cause
Yeah, hold up.
I mean, it's
let me see. Let me try it again. There we go. I got it to work. Yeah.
okay.
All right. I got it to work, Willie. So I don't know why it was doing that. But yeah, originally released in 1996, the first Resident Evil, aka Biohazard in Japan, which I believe me and Marty has some words on it in one of his streams how we were talking about it. Yeah, it was actually one of my favorite games. It actually spooked me back then, and I fell in love with the franchise from there. I remember my dad had to beat it first before I even tried beating it because it was scary at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got it within 10 questions. So good
I
job.
think.
I think maybe
Marty
you should
called it.
limit it to that.
Say it
Oh,
again.
Marty called.
Yeah, who called
ahead,
it? Someone
Grover.
did call it.
Marty called Resident Evil 2 way back in the beginning. Like,
Yeah.
He was close. He was
It was
close.
close, yeah. Oh, he called in Resident Evil Village. The Duke was the bad guy. Oh, I gotta play the DLC. I haven't played it yet. But yeah, appreciate everybody joining us for the podcast. If you guys did you guys enjoy it? I mean, you guys want to do this every podcast? What do you think?
we can switch it up. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we can end the
That'd be
podcast with that. I'll have a new game. If you guys want to go ahead and submit a game, go ahead and DM me on Discord, and I'll take all your suggestions, and I'll mention your name too and let you know, and tell them to go ahead and give you a follow also on your Twitch channel if you do have a Twitch channel. And if not, I'll still say your name and say who it's from. But I think it'll be a fun way to play with the guests and play with the group and just have some fun at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, appreciate you, Groover. Appreciate
Thanks for
everything you did with
coming
the
on.
Discord.
Yo,
Don't forget.
David said,
Yeah.
switch who chooses the game. We could do that.
Oh yeah,
We could
definitely.
take
Like
this,
I only
yeah.
chose the game here, but I would rather get suggestions. But the whole point is gonna be me versus Mike and Fan and whoever the guest is. So it's gonna be
Yeah.
a versus match, and so far they're beating me. So please send me some
Yeah,
very very
yo.
difficult games.
Yo, scoreboard
Yeah.
2-0, bro.
Yep.
2-0.
Yeah.
I'm
You
gonna
need
have to
you
get
need to
a-
make a little scoreboard on the you gotta put a little scoreboard up on there.
We'll do that. I'll make that. We'll make a scoreboard. We'll put it on the side there so people can see that how many wins you guys have. But definitely appreciate you, Groover, aka Master Builder, for all you've done in our Discords. Definitely
For sure.
appreciate
You're the
that.
GOAT, bro.
Yeah, go ahead and follow him. He only needs 4
Thank
more.
you so much.
If you can, please give him a follow. Take a look at his channel. He has some awesome content with
The
Rainbow
man's
Six,
almost an
Call of Duty.
affiliate.
let's get him because he's helped us out in a lot of ways too. He's helped out the Streamboat from One Eyed Willie's Discord. You know, he's done a lot of great things and he deserves that support. And yeah, if you like the 20 questions, definitely check us out on our next podcast. We're always live here on Twitch and YouTube every Sundays. Don't forget to check out our solo videos. Mike has a video up recently with his or rather a new series that he created called the Backlog Cleanup, where he released episode 1, where he kind of does a deep dive. Actually, why don't you explain it?
Pretty much. So I'm just going through my backlog of like the past 20 years of games I haven't played and reviewing them and seeing if they're still good, how they hold up, and if they're worth playing.
Yeah. You know, definitely take a look at his videos. It's interesting to hear from, you know, Final Fantasy 1, which is an older game, and to hear the thoughts on somebody who hasn't played it and played it for the first time, and, you know, give his impressions. I have, of course, a few videos out. I have my recent Final Fantasy 16 impressions, where I think the hype is real, and I think you should be hyped for this game because I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing. I'm not going to repeat myself. Just go ahead and watch the video and take a look at that, and I'm pretty sure you'll be hyped. And we'll also have some new videos up, and I believe Mike should have his November catalog up this week.
It'll be up sometime this week, 100%.
Yeah, because there's a lot of games coming out in November, and there's a lot of games that you gotta look forward to.
I have 4 pages front and back of like games. That's why it's taken me so long to like get through this.
Definitely. Yeah, but don't forget to check out Phaneckswhy and his channel. Watch his Twitch streams where he streams a variety of stuff. Actually, Fan, go ahead. Let's start the outro. Where can they find you at?
Yeah, you can find me at Phaneckswhy on Twitter and Twitch. That's also what I have on like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, but don't even search for those because I'm not really too big into the TikTok and Instagram. But yeah, just hit me up on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter.
What about you, Gruber? Where can they find you at?
So I'm on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. All of them are Gruber878. They'll have links back to my Twitch, which is mainly where I do stuff, but I cut up all my Twitch stuff and put it on YouTube, and it looks a little bit better over there. So either one that you want to check out, that'd be much appreciated. All of them are Gruber878.
Awesome. What about you, Mike? Where can they find you at?
Nowhere, bro. We don't exist, bro. This is all a figment of our imagination, dude. No, I'm just kidding, bro. You can find me here on Twitter. You can find me at Encounter Mike and on our YouTube. You know, I'm everywhere, man.
Yeah, and my name is James, and you can, of course, find me here at The Random Encounter. We are The Random Encounter Podcast on Twitch and just The Random Encounter on YouTube. And I don't have social media, so you can't really find me anywhere. But if you do want to reach out, you can reach out at Podcast TRE, which is our Twitter account. And, you know, if anything, Mike will let me know if a message is for me because he kind of handles all the social media stuff there. We appreciate everybody for joining. My name is James. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Fan. Thank you, Gruber. We'll see you on the next episode of The Random Encounter.
Peace out, guys. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.